The plastic straw effect. What does gaslighting mean? To manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity or powers of reasoning. The system is gaslighting you. Cui bono. Building guilt by shifting blame. It's one big shame game. Ever notice the system takes action but then blames you for it? Maybe not. Before we go over examples of how you are being blamed for things that are not your fault, and you should never take responsibility for, let's touch on the biological impact of accepting blame and shame. When the body experiences guilt and shame, it lowers frequencies. Shame, guilt, fear vibrate about 20 mMhz, C-pic, and are much denser. Quite literally, the vibration of shame and guilt is one of the lowest, and it will cause dis-ease in the body. When it comes to messages pushed your way, you must stop and think for yourself. Ask questions and do your own research. Not all messages pushed your way are for your good, and some of them are complete lies. Let's talk about guilt. How do you feel when you know you are guilty of doing wrong? Pretty bad, right? It's never a fun feeling. In all honesty, it is a horrible feeling. Okay, now ask yourself what would be the impact on the body if you were constantly being told you were wrong, or should be blamed, or should feel shameful for actions you're really being gaslighted for by the system? Disclaimer. Before we begin, I am not here to go against doing better for the environment. We will approach this subject from the viewpoint of how the blame and shame are purposely being shifted to you, the consumer, who has no say and little impact in relation to if the corporations asking you to shift your behavior shift theirs. Everyone in Canada could never use a plastic bag again tomorrow, and it won't make a difference if everything we are putting in the brown bag is covered in plastic. As a society, we should not be harnessed with additional stress, guilt, and shame. Why is the consumer to blame? No plastic bags at the grocery store? Ask yourself how this makes any sense. Number 1, the cost has been pushed onto the consumer with no increase in value. You are paying more for less. You no longer get equal service products for the price paid. Secondly, this makes 0 sense. Why should you, as the consumer, number 1, pay, number 2, be made to feel wrong over using a plastic bag? Stop and ask yourself, when was the last time you saw something pass through the grocery till that wasn't plastic, coated in plastic, or wrapped in plastic? Almost all food comes in plastic. Even those vegan granola bars. Cardboard with plastic for packaging and plastic individually wrapped. For goodness sake, even the fruit and veggies you pack up with the plastic bags provided in the produce aisle. Next time you go home and unpack your groceries, pay attention. Watch how much plastic and wrapping you will need to dispose of. Do your part. You're wrong. The customer is not actually creating a carbon footprint. The company that is making the car is. Guilt and shame are built into our society to train that you are wrong. Starbucks, anyone? Who has had the dirty look from the barista when asking for a plastic straw? Oh, you're one of those people. Look? Almost as if you were inconsiderate to the environment. How dare you? Oh, wait. You mean the look she gave you when you asked right after she handed you a drink in a plastic cup, with a plastic lid, and poured milk out of cardboard waxed with plastic inside? Oh, wait. What about the stopper? Don't forget your green plastic stopper. Small example of have and have-nots in a way you haven't thought of. You do not have the right at the grocery store to have a plastic bag. You have not. The companies who make the food you are buying do have the right. Think about that. Paper straws are more dangerous than plastic straws. Certain alternatives to plastic, like Starbucks' strawless lids, can sometimes involve more plastic than the original products they replaced. The plastic straw scam. It's no different than the plastic bag. No plastic bag saved is going to save the world when everything you swipe is covered in plastic. I refuse to participate in this type of thing, which I like to think of as an erosion of common sense tactics. But the plastic straw scam takes it one step farther. Not only is the system gaslighting you into accepting blame for an issue you never created, but it potentially could be making you sick. Huh? Yes, let me explain. A new study published in the journal Food Additives and Contaminants examined more than 20 different brands of plant-based straws and found high levels of toxic chemicals in almost all of them. Are there microplastics in paper straws? Paper straws contain more than just paper. Paper straws always contain glue. It is needed to keep the straw in shape. These glues can dissolve in the drink and be harmful to your health. Glue can also break down into microplastics. Tristan Hopper, National Post. So now you've done the right thing and swapped your plastic straw for a paper straw, thinking you're helping the environment and your health. But in reality, the solution you are using is making you and the environment sicker. How? See, when you were sucking on a normal plastic straw, you were sucking on a plastic straw. Yes, the plastic was in your mouth. However, pieces of it were not breaking down and entering your body. By convincing people to swap to paper straws, they have convinced people into swallowing glues and microplastics. Maybe not a wise choice. The assumption that all eco-friendly alternatives and green products pushed to you are inherently better for the environment or your health is not always accurate. Like everything in life, don't blindly accept information when it is given to you. Many messages pushed your way are wrapped in pretty bows and environmental righteousness to get you to buy into them. However, if you don't ask the questions and critically think for yourself, you may get scammed into trading your health and being none the wiser.